Hello, dear 12 students, and welcome to our lessons. We are going to talk about the last theme of this book, which is theme 4 travel and the transport. Let's discuss the title of this theme. Look at the title. Travel can be a verb and it can be a noun. It is to go from one place to another, typically over a distance of some length. And travel as a noun is the action of traveling, whereas transport as a verb it means to take or carry people or goods, things from one place to another by means of vehicle, aircraft, or ships. Look at this cartoon. What point do you think it is trying to make? And what can we see in this cartoon? Look at the cartoon. We have here different planes in the skies, a train. We have lots of cars here. What can you see? Look at the plane. I don't believe it. It's worse up here than it's down there. And even people here saying, calling all planes, expect a considerable delay. And all the drivers here, maybe they are saying, wouldn't be a great to be a pilot and get away from all this congestion. So the key word here is congestion, and it means getting stuck into the crowd. It can be like that. So the cartoon shows the huge amount of congestion on the land and in the skies. So everyone is complaining whether they are in the skies or on the land. Many people think of traffic congestion as applying only to roads, but the cartoon shows that these days it applies to air travel as well. The airspace around the earth is becoming more and more crowded with aircraft. So this is the idea of this cartoon. And then here are some questions. How have the transport system changed both globally and in Oman? What do you think? How can you see transport system? Let's say in your village or in your country, how do you see it? Is the travel getting easier or worse? Have developments in transport brought new issues or brought new problems? For example, pollution, congestion. Can you think of these three questions so you can write some notes in your book? Okay, then let's move to activity number 2. We have a short text. You need here, as usual, to check the meanings of the words and the phrases which are written in bold. Try to find the meaning of them, and I have collected for you the meaning of these words besides other words. They are written both in Arabic and English. Moving to theme 1, unit 1, which is about aviation, then and now. And before we talk about this unit, what does aviation mean? Aviation is the flying or operating of aircraft. Okay, so this is the meaning of aviation. And this unit focuses on aviation, from the invention of the first powered plane by the Wright brothers to the way planes are powered today. So the question is, have you traveled anywhere by plane? If yes, where? Can you write the answer? So moving back to activity number 1, look at the photographs A and B and discuss the two questions. Question 1, what kind of fuel does the plane in picture A use? And you know the meaning of fuel. What problems does this cause? And look at number 2, how do you think the machine in picture B is powered? So we have different types of planes in pictures A and B. And look at A. Can you give me the name of the plane in photograph A? It is a plane that uses conventional petroleum-based fuel. The problems caused by this fuel are carbon dioxide emissions, which contribute to global warming. Photograph B. What is the name of the plane in photograph B? It is a solar-powered plane. Now the question to you, dear students, can you give me examples of other things that solar power is used for? Because this plane is powered by the sun. So what examples can you give me? For example, cars, boats, lights. Do you think that solar power will ever replace conventional fuel in the future? I guess so. So now let's move to different activities. In activity number 2, we have a text and we have 4 titles. You need to skim the following article and choose the best title. And we have studied this in theme 1 and theme 2, how to skim a text. We need to read the topic sentences of each paragraph and try to guess what each paragraph talks about. So the best answer is C. Then, in activity number 3, you need to read the text in activity 2 again. You will need to scan the text and to check any unknown words in your dictionary. Then, you need to match between the words and their definition or their meaning. You can pause the video to answer this question. Then, I would like to shed a light on this one, on the top tip, to practice with pronouns. What does a pronoun mean? Pronouns are like I, you, he, she, it, we, they, me, him, her, us, them, this, that, these, those. All these are pronouns, but they are different. It depends on the place. For example, there are subject pronoun and there are object pronouns, but they are all called pronouns. So what are pronouns? Pronouns are essential in text cohesion. Cohesion? What does that mean? Cohesion. Cohesion, for example, look at this sentence. This essay lacks cohesion. Cohesion تعني الترابط أو التماسك. تماسك النص. لذلك pronouns are essential in text cohesion. After reading a new text, a useful 5 minutes activity is to go back through the text, identify the pronouns and check what they refer to. Focusing on pronouns in this way helps to improve reading fluency and comprehension. So, the main aim of pronouns is to avoid repetition of saying things, names. This is the duty of pronouns. So, in activity number 4, you need to read the text again and find examples of pronouns. Let me see if you can identify what each pronoun refers to. This activity gives you practice with understanding how pronouns link phrases and sentences in a text. To understand what a pronoun is, I will give you few examples. You can refer to the grammar references section on page 85 of your workbook for more information about personal pronouns. Okay, so let's talk about this one. Number 1, one way they can do this, which is in line number 9. And if we move, so here are the numbers of the lines, and here is line number 10. So this is line number 9, and the question says one way they can do this. So one way they, this is they, can do this. So how can we identify what is the noun or the thing that refers to each? Okay, so we need to go back to the sentence. So if we start from here, so airlines have been looking for ways to reduce their carbon footprint, the global amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases that planes emit. One way they can do this by changing their fuel from petroleum-based fuels to biofuels. This pronoun here refers to what? It refers to airlines, right? And this, they can do this. What do they mean by this? To reduce their carbon footprint. Okay, so you can do the same with the rest of the questions to identify the different pronouns in 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pause the video to answer this question before I answer it for you. So here are the answers to the questions. You can check them. Again, in activity number 2, the same text. We have an activity in your workbook. This is the activity which is in theme 4, unit 1. Look at this question. So in this question, we are going to answer a simple reading question, which is true-false question, but you need to be very careful when answering such questions. So you need to write T if the statement is true, you need to write F if the statement is false, and you need to write NG if the information is not given at all in the text. I would like to remind you, dear students, that you should read each statement very carefully, paying particular attention to adverbs, and look at adverbs. For example, look at statement C. The Virgin Atlantic plane was entirely powered by biofuels, and here the adverb is entirely. This statement is false because the plane was powered partly, not entirely, by biofuels. So the adverb, this adverb, entirely, it changed the answer and make it false statement. Clear? So this is how you answer these questions. Pause the video to answer the rest. Here are the answers to the questions. Moving to activity number 3. Read the text about the Wright brothers as a practice time reading practice, and you can refer how to calculate your reading speed. And in this text, you need to read about the Wright brothers, who are the pioneers of aviation. And what does pioneer mean? A pioneer is a person who is among the first to explore something or to discover something. رائد أو من الرواد في اختراع حاجة معينة. So the Wright brothers are the pioneers of aviation industry. After you finish reading this one, you need to calculate your reading speed and answer these questions which are in page 61 of your book. Pause the video to answer the questions and then check them. So here are the answers, and here are different words with their meanings. You need to review them. In Unit 2, we are going to talk about congestion, a growing issue. It's like a growing problem because everyone is talking about this, and maybe it's like a social issue which is spread out in all of the town, the city, or the country itself. So now look at the cartoon and discuss the questions A, B, and C in groups. Look at the cartoon and look at this manager. His name is Mr. Atkins. He's talking to his employee.
Miss Smith, you're very late. Where have you been? I've been waiting for you for over an hour. And what's wrong with your phone? I've been calling you all morning.
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Atkins. I've been stuck in the traffic jam. The congestion was terrible this morning.
What do you think? So let's look at the traffic jam. What does traffic jam means? A traffic jam is the situation where the traffic can't move because too many vehicles are crowded together. They are synonyms to congestion, and vehicles means cars. So now let's move to the questions. Have you spent time sitting in traffic? Which of these words describe how you felt? Can you think of any other words? Make a list in your exercise book. So we have here different adjectives: frustrated, angry, relaxed, tired, nervous, impatient, which is the opposite of patient, irritated, calm, or stressed. All these adjectives can describe your feeling when you are stuck in the traffic jam or a congestion. If you have more adjectives to add, you can write them. And look at the question B. How do you cope with traffic congestion? What do you do? Look at C. Have you ever been late for something important because of the traffic? Maybe you came late to your school and you missed the class. So what happened? So you can tell your partner or you can write the answer yourself. So this is regarding Unit 2. In activity number 2, we have this short letter from Mrs. Smith, and she is writing a letter to Mr. West. You can read the letter yourselves and answer the questions. Why is Mrs. Smith unhappy? And look at question B. How has she tried to solve her problem? Why hasn't this worked? You need to read the letter and answer the questions. Here are some important words in Unit 2. You can go through them. Now moving to Unit 3, which is talking about safety on the road. So this unit focuses on a topic of increasing concern in Oman, which is road safety. So we have here 3 questions for discussions. You can discuss them, you can write your answer in the comment, or you can write them down in your exercise book. Look at the photo on the right. What is happening, do you think? Why is the car upside down? Can you see the car? Look at B. How can drivers and passengers make car travel safer? What should they do? And look at C. What do you think are the particular dangers for newly qualified drivers? How can these dangers be reduced? So here you need to think about the ways of increasing road safety. For activity number 2 and activity number 1 in your workbook, we are going to hear a police officer talking about the work of the Traffic Safety Institute in Muscat. In activity number 2, you need to listen to the question and choose the best answer for each word or phrase. And then in activity number 1 in your workbook, you need to listen again and answer the questions. Before we go to the recording, let's look at the top tip here. In multiple choice questions, when dealing with multiple choice questions, read through all the possible choices that you have before choosing one. If you eliminate إزالة أو يستبعد, if you eliminate the answers which are incorrect, you will be left with the correct answer. This applies equally to reading and listening multiple choice questions. Sometimes you need to watch out for the qualifying words like always, sometimes, or never, because they can change the meaning of a statement. So now I need you to listen to the recording.
The Royal Oman Police, or ROP, have been very active in increasing road safety awareness. They have set up speed limits and installed cameras and radars on main roads. In residential areas, they have put speed bumps across roads to slow down traffic. In spite of these measures, the accident statistics remain worrying. Many people think, an accident will never happen to me, but in 2014, there was a total of 6,717 road accidents in Oman. The number of fatalities In other words, the number of people killed on the roads was 836. If drivers are caught driving without a driving license, they are punished by a fine of 75 Omani Rials and sent to jail for a minimum of 48 hours. Longer if they have been involved in an accident. There is also a fine for the owner of the car to pay. The ROP are especially keen to raise road safety awareness among young people. They regularly visit schools and colleges to give talks about road safety. They also invite school children to the Traffic Safety Institute to talk about road safety. There, they use a simulator to teach children about the importance of wearing a seatbelt. The advice from the ROP for new drivers is that they should practice what they have learned in their training. They should avoid driving at busy times and only go out on the roads if a more experienced driver goes with them. They should remember that accidents can happen to anyone and respect the rules of the road at all times. To sum up, the police emphasize that road safety is the responsibility not only of the police or drivers and passengers, but of all members of society.
So it is our responsibilities. You need to think about the two activities. You need to understand. You can go back to the listening in order to listen again and answer the questions. In activity number 2, we have different verbs that are related to going up, الزيادة أو الارتفاع, and going down, انخفاض, انحدار, نزول. So look at these verbs. For example, A, increase. It means يزداد, go up. So we put a tick here for go up, and the noun of it is an increase. And look at B, decrease, and it means go down, ينخفض, and the noun is a decrease, a decrease. So you need to look at the verbs rise, drop, fall, grow, expand, reduce. So this is regarding this unit. Here are the most important words and their meanings. They are written in both languages, and here are more words for unit number 4. Review them, please. So this is regarding our lesson today. I wish you enjoy it. If you have any questions, suggestions, ideas, comments, please write them below. Wish you all the best. Stay safe and see you soon.